Fire apple putting years on me. No, no, this bolt in hand be my worder. I'll see you moved farther, blarneying Marc Antonio. What can such wretch to say to I, or how have my to doom with him? We were roomful of mischief and initium wise, ever liking alike, hairy top on heel tipper, Alpy Beckers unwashable, and Ixon am Ixon, that babe imprincipally, my leopard brethren. The pure arms innocence of but 15 primes, ya all in ya calbinized, so trilustriously standing, the real school to be upright as his match, healthiest as his egg, saviour so the salt, and good wee browed. Paralleling butty. Did I alter mobile him to a flare insiding hogsfat, being Ikins kindergarten? I know not, O Cashla, I am sure offed habitant this undered heaven, my's envins, contrasting the first mover. The farther I ascend, froming knows, as I think, caused whom I, a self the sign, came remaining being dwelling I, Plage and Watford. As to I was altered in postulance, possessing my future state, falling towards thrice myself, resting the child hide when I received the habit, following Mesianus, connecting Mesosius, including was verted embracing a palagrim, circumcised my hairs o loud, and removed my clothes from patristic motives, meres minimas culpads, permitting this icklecoon, crouched low, entering humble down, dead through mean scatological past, making so smell, partaking myself to confess, abiding clean, tumble uponing, Yow's octopods, mouth speech, I'll no finger force, owning my mansuetude before him, attaching audience prostrating wards, mine sore accompanying my thwain tops offering, may I salt, what I, the person whom in I now am, did not do, how he say to say, essayed anding how he was making errand, and danding how he'll all lockety on sunt. Why did you, my sex best friend, blabber always? You would be so delighted to back me, then erst irredenant, toppling Humphrey, hugging nephew, old beggarlout, designing such posts, sitting the night office, annexing then, producing Saint Momolius, you snub around, enclosing your moving motion, touching the other catechumens, continuing say, providing append of signature, quonium, you will celebrand my dirthdag's quonium, conceal the concealer. I am 2 sides uppish, a mock belief insolent, ending none, mayor hyber Irish. Well chunk your dimned chink, before I've took you in the town, for as much as many have took in hand to, I may as well humbly correct that Vespian now in case of temporalities. I have my pockets full comb play of ye, you lay created cardinals, ap rince, ap rowler, up rancer, ap rowdy, improprial, I saved you 4 of the Heckites, and you loosed me hind bland Harry to the bergmote of Ordub. I teach it you in fair time, my elders, the WXYZ and PQRS of legatine powers, and saved you, Ailby and Siadaclin. I learn, episcoping me altogether, circumdenditioned me. I brought you from the loops of Lazari, and you have remembered my lapsus languays. Was she what she, what was she? Hua Booker Jibbon, what a cushy lot. Mind of poison is that time thing think. Honorific remembrance to spit humble makes. My Ruri de Canal cast is a cut above few peregrines. I vuchu to Ramanusk, see the labour of my generations. Hast not my master Theophrastus Svero Pneumaticus written that the spirit is from upper circle? I am of the ochlocracy with Christopher Palumbus and Porphus Pario, Soacoa Caliteri, Percelli Deri Leposette. Ho, look at my jailbrand, ex Grovis and Sequenzias high, marked on me facsimile in the foreign by Papagallus and Pumpus Mugnus ahem. Anglesi ex Skrovich, lean yo nun feed, Marcurius, Sagats can self loud, nil obstant to low man. Catholics patrician morning coat of arms with my high Tripenifery, Cresta and Caudal Mottoms. Ich Dean, which Gasby Otto and Soa he renders, echo stay so. Addressing eat or not, eat body yours am, and mine, praise God, is the first praisonal egoname yod. Heard boss boys buzzy in my bog's domesday, hastan the vista, or in Alaman. Suckat. Suck it yourself, sugar stick. Misha, you'd think House was asking you to look at your sore toe or to taste your Gaspy, hot and sour. Ichthian, Hecfatosa. Gagsby plebsed, between his voyeurs and her consonants. Thug, Dirk and Hacker, with Rose Lancaster and Blanche York. Are we screeching danglas landage, or are you sprake and sea? Deoch, oh Zoe, blazy, where to go is knowing remain. Become quantity this discourse bothersome when to what do. Knowing remain, come back, Barry Riley, to bully Dame stuff. Come him, Buddy Rowley, with me. What about your threepenny croucher of an old fellow, me boy, through the ages, tell us, eh? What about Brian's the Vaughan and Oleum, Master Monk, eh? Spear in me domine, spear me doin. Fat prize the bona fide Pete Chump pigeon lover, Esquire Earwigs, Excusado of Jenkins area with his I've ivy under his tang, and the ho hallow to his dullophone before there was a sound in the world. How big was his boost friend, and be Shanghai to him? The swab, the twice a trifold, in Onstable, Loud's curse to him, if you hoard him outwardly, as we harem labyrinthly, from morning rise till nightmare, with his drums and bones and hums and drones, you inner-eared, heardly hear he, ho, ha he hung, ting ting. Me no Anglimo, me speaky Yellmans lingers. Nicey dog. Mr. Lou, please. Me no piggy ludiments, all same number one. Topside tell my story, fella. Me piggy savvy, a sing-a-song, another time. Please you, Mr. Looky Walkie. Just a damn cowbelly, ma'am. Belong game, sheep bulla mill malong. Be golla jackin boss, belong ja, see, plenty much. Boo-hoot beau. Hell's Confucium and the elements. Tutu moo-hoosh. Thoughts, never the postal cleric. Checkin' chin-chin chat with nimpon nippers. Halt their sob-story to your lamb dad's tale. Are you Roman Corthric 432? Cordweek my yoke. Triple my twist, Trundle my sire. History as her is harped, to the tune, Your old Frau lied of, Tantrus hat-trick, twist and parting, by vowel glide I feel your thrill joy mouths, overt speaking, O Dragomar hands under studium. Plunger words, what paddle verbed, mere man's mime. God has jest, the old order changeth and lasts like the first. Every third man has a chink in his conscience, and every other woman has a jape in her mind. Now fix on the little fellow in my eye, Minucius Mandrake, and follow my little psychosinology poor, armor in sling slang. Now I, the Lord of Tutu, am placing that initial T square of boreal jade upright to your temple a moment. Do you see anything, Templar? I see a black French pastry cook, who is carrying on his brain pan a cathedral of love jelly for his teens. How he is like somebody's. Pious a pious person, what sound of distress is holds my ear. I horizont the same, this serp with ram shed, and lay it lightly to your lip a little. What do you feel, lip love? I feel a fine lady, floating on a still stream of Issa's glass, with gold hair to the bed, and white arms to the twinklers. Oh la la! Purely in a pure manner, oh say, but swift and still the vain essaying, troth today, trend tomorrow. I invert the initial of your tripartite, and sign it sternly and as to girdle. On your breast, what do you hear, breastplate? I hear of a hopper behind the door slapping his feet in a bowl of bran. Belax, acting like a bellax, and so the triptych vision passes, out of a hillside into a hillside. Far she fading, again I am deliciated by the picaresqueness of your images. Now the audio urge iter impellent. I feel called upon to ask did it ever occur to you, qua you, prior to this, by a stretch of your hyperborealish imagination, when it's quicker than this quacking, that you might bar accidents be very largely substituted in potential secession from your next life by a complementary character, voices apart, up Jack, I shudder for your thought. Think, put from your mind that, and take on trust this. The next word depends on your answer. I'm thinking too, Thogged be thanked. I was just trying to think when I thought I felt a flea. I might have. I cannot say, for it is of no significance at all. Once or twice when I was in Odinburgh with my idle foes, Jake Jones, the hands cabby, when I thinkled I wore trying on my garden substitute boys are pert at my next word neighbours, and maybe more largely nor you quash yet you messmate realize. A few times so to shape I chanced to be stretching in the shadow as I thought, the life right out of myself in my auriculous imaginating. I felt feeling a half-Scotch and pottage, like round my middle aging, like Bewley in the bast, so that I indicate out to myself, and I swear by Gods, how that I'm not myself at all, no jolly fear, when I realize by myself how becomingly I to be going to become. Oh, is that the way with you, you creator? In the becoming was the weird. Want that? Who'd maketh not frail? The voice is the voice of Jacob, I fear. Are you imitation Roman now, or Amor now? You have all our empathies, Mr. Trickpat, if you don't mind. That is aside from things and mush answering to my straight question. God save the monk. I won't mind this answering to your strict cross-creets, whereas it would be as unethical for me now to answer as it would have been nonsensical for you then not to have asked. Same no can, home no will, gangin' I am. Gang is mine, and I will return. Out of my name you call me Leylander, but in my shelter you'll miss me. When the pack walks backwards, his darkest horse in Capalisut. You knew me once, but you won't know me twice. I am Simpliciter Aqueous, arse of the Sioux, 3 days child in loving and thieving. My child, know this. Some portion of that answer appears to have been tokened by you from the writings of Saint Synodius, that first liar. Let us hear, therefore, as you honour and obey the Queen, whether the undwellingness of that which same fierce be entwined of one or atoned of two. Let us hear art simplicismi. Dearly beloved brethren, Bruno and Nola, layman bogholders, and stationary life partners off Orange St. Nassau Street, were explaining it avasenders all round each other, ere yester week out of Ibusen and Appensus, when himp upon Nola Bruno monopolizes his ego Bruno, most unwillingly seizes by the mortal powers, alio and Nola equal and opposite, Bruno ipso. Id est, eternally provoking alio opposite equally as provoked as Bruno at being eternally opposed by Nola. Pua omnibus single arm, so is he. One might hear in that beyond that lion roar in the age again, in the air again. The zoo whom of feeling may call. Bruin goes to noble, aver who is, if it's Etzen, or you mean Nolans but Volans, an alibi, do you mute malice, suffering on egoistically from the singular but positively enjoying on the plural? Thus the fire of that soul you breather, remember blither, thou must lie. Oh yes, I never dreamt of pre-being a postman, but I mean in Australian some place most deeply, bulby billub dead, my aliboy brother, negois cabler of this city whom 'tis better ne'er to name my said brother, to skip God, expelled for looking at churches from behind, who is sender of the hollow Eve's sonograph in worse every also night. Hi Brazil, Brandans, deferred midden earth, Klar language, 0009, Assas, Dublaya per neuropath, punk, starving today plays punk opening tomorrow. 2 plays punk wire. Splosh! How 2 plays punk cabla. Have you forgotten poor Albi Sobrinos, Jeff you blighter, identifiable by the necessary white patch on his rear? How we went to his swilter's land, after his lungs, my sad late brother, before his coglionial expansion. Won't you join me in a small Hail Mary, a bottle of the best, for well-met Capler, United Irishmen? What though preferring the stranger, the coughs and the itches, and the minis and the ratties, the opulos and belganses, for of his was the patriot mistaken, the heart that wast our Gore Maguire. Yet be there some who mourn him, concluding him dead, and more there be that wait his strand. His foot's up the stairs, and his ladgers in his hairs. He ought to win that VVC. Full grapes for an end-upper, half muxy on his hole, would he were even among the lost, from hours bereft beyond belongs, Orimus poor fraternibus, that he may yet escape the gallows, and still remain our faithfully departed. I wronged you. I never want to see more bad men, but I want to learn from any on the airs, like Tass with much thanks. Here's ditto if he lives some place in the antipodes of Austrasia, or anywhere with my Faungust on his hush money, safe and damned, or has hopped it who, or who can throw any lime on the subject, my fond Foster. E object known, the workings, NSW, his condition, of the venerable Jerry built, not belonging to these parts, who I remember ham to me, when we were like bro and sis over our castor and porridge with his Roman, I suppose, expecting for his Clarynx negus a teetotum abstainer. He feels he ought to be ashamed of me, as me to be ashamed of him. We were in one class of age, like the 2 clots of an egg. I am most beholden to him, my namesake, as we said in our American, through the doubly telewisher. Out past hearts wag short betimes, worn down shoes upon his feet, to whose redress no tongue can tell, in his hands a boot. Spare me do a copper or 2, and happy I'll hope you'll be. It will please me behind with thanks from before, and love to self and all. I remain here your truly friend. I am no scholar, but I love that man who has a frockot, lops with the moonshine in his profile. Me semblable, my freer, I call you my half-brother because you in your sober optimic moments remind me deeply of my natural say when brothel, in feed hop and solitary S.H. Devitt, that benighted Iris maimed, who is tearly belaboured by Sydney and Alimany. As you sing it's a study, that letter self-penned to one's other, that never perfect, ever planned. This non-day diary, this all-night's news the reveal. My dear sir, in this wireless age, any owl rooster can pick up bostoons, but who waxed? You show anguished. Was he victed, a victim, vexed? Mighty sure. Way for his vehicle. A perambulator ran into his bag's mouth when he was reading aloud, with 2 acolytes, and he's been falling off that kink in his arts ever since. Madonic and Chiel, idealist leading a double life, but who for the brilliance of brothers is the Nolan as a parent nominally? Mr. Nolan is pronominally Mr. Gottgab. I get it. By hearing his thing about a person, one begins to place him for a certain in true. Eureka, he stands pat for you before a direct object in the feminine, I see. By maiden's name now I am earnestly asking you, and putting it as between this your who, and that whom on hin, will just search through your gabgood memoirs for all of 2 minutes, for this impersonating pronolan fair head on foul shoulders. Would it be in twofold truth and untaken mispatriate, fully true and really, a doubling ganger much about your own medium with the sandy whiskers, poke me nabs in the ribs, and pick the erstwort out of his mouth. Treble stouter of Holy Bagot Street, formerly Swordmeat, who I surpassed him lately for 4 and 6, bringing home the Christmas as heavy as music, hand to eyes on the pair for Noel's Arch, in blessed Forster's places doing the dirty on me, with his tantrums and all these God-forgiven kilowatts, I'd be better off without. She's right to him, she's laved by me. Jenny Redriver, toot, deter for you, Mr. Nobru, toot toot, better for you, Mr. Anol. This is the way we of a red letter day morning. When you contreman from to Wakisi is looking for writing, that is not a good thing, not a good sign, not. I speak truly, it's a shower sign that is not. What though it be for the sour of his heart, if even she were a good poor pigeon? If she ate your window-sill, you wouldn't say so. Would you be surprised after that by asking, have you a bull, a bosbully, with a whistle in? I would. Were you with Cindy and Sandy attending Goliath a bull? You'd make me sag what you like to. I was intending a funeral. Simply and simply. They are 2 wives of Solbing, their siblings. And both croon to the same theme.